Hello, it's Josh here. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to try desperately hard to keep this video to around 10 minutes. It's a weekly preview video of a feature handicap. This time I'm going to focus on the Paddy Power Gold Cup Chase. As always, the idea is to kind of talk through these races using the tools I kind of use, or showing the tools I use in a way that helps you solve the puzzle if you so wish, or helps you maybe come to some conclusions on horses that you want to back. In part, I suppose, a window into my mind and how I'm thinking at the time I'm recording this, which is lunchtime on Friday. I haven't kind of formulated my thoughts fully, and the idea isn't to steer you necessarily into what I'm thinking or will be backing as yet, which of course, if I find anything that I like, will be posted in the daily blog post at some point. It's likely I will have decided by kind of 5 p.m. The night before on Friday, this time for this particular race, but we shall see. So yes, I'm in GG's Gold. As you can see, I'm actually going to jump, well, I jump as always in these videos between GG's Gold and Horse Race Base. I'm going to jump over to the blog first of all. I like using stats and trends and pointers. We shall see how they get on. They're always a kind of decent, or can be a decent starting point or weigh-in or context. There's the November meeting stats there for a trainer jockey, 3 trainer jockey combos, which caught my eye. And there's the big stats, big race stats, trends, trainer pointers. By big race, I'm talking about feature handicaps class 2 or higher, which is generally where my big race kind of efforts focus. We have the Paddy Power there. You can see some of the stats there. They're all right, actually. They're kind of a interesting, solid enough profile for this type of race, which you can see there. This kind of thing is only ever a guide, of course. We can see the trainer record the last 12 years, Nigel Twiston Davis, so I think that automatically makes Al Dancer of interest just because of his record in the race. Likewise, Paul Nicholls throws quite a few darts, but a couple of winners. John Joe hasn't done too bad. He's got a lurker. And various others there. Obviously, Kerry Lee had the winner with Happy Diva, who rocks up again this year. So I've applied those stats to this post here. So there's the qualifiers against the trainer jockey pointers, a couple there for the 215, and applied the stats here. The 12 and 12 stats, you can see what they point to. 5 to 8 career wins has been a kind of positive, as you can see there. 10 of the last 12 from 56 runners, backing them all. 101 Betfair SP, which may be no bad micro system moving forward for this particular race. We shall see. But yes, Mr. Fisher, Al Dancer, Happy Diva, Slater House hit those. So maybe of some interest there. You've got the trainer pointers there. So, of course, use those as some kind of weigh-in or added context if you wish. I'm going to jump over to the race card. First, I'm going to click the Instant Expert. For those of you who've seen these videos before, you know what this is. Excellent kind of tools within GG's. This allows you... This gives an impression of what horses have done against race conditions. So the greens being kind of good, the reds not so good, ambers okay. So you can set the conditions to what you want. They may have a bit of rain around. Will this go soft at 2:15? I'm not quite sure, but if you put the settings onto soft, I'd like to think it's not going to go softer. We can see, you can change the different things down here. So if I just put the chase records, this is all chases, handicaps and non, you can see the going. The course stats here will include the old course and the new course. This is the old course, which is always a bit tight, a bit sharper. Clearly you need to jump well and stay, but it can pay to kind of set for home early enough, and it's pretty hard to get horses back if they can get away kind of swinging off that bend, I find, especially when they're not kind of 24 plus runner races, I suppose, but it depends how the pace sets up, and I'll show you a quick pace map in a moment. But you can pause that and do what you want. You can see the horses proven in chases here, proven in the going, class, course, distance, field side, which of course can be important with hurly-burly handicaps over fences. Obviously they can test jumping and all sorts of things, and stamina obviously if they go harder, etc. So yes, you can see the kind of record of different horses there, which I won't go into too deeply. You can pause that, stare at that, do what you want with that. If I put handicaps here, so now we're looking at handicap chases. We can see Sir de Lac in terms of proven, simply the bets, ASO. Some of these, Mr. Fisher, Al Dancer, are making handicap chase debut, I think, so that means they're unexposed. Could be more to come. Happy Diva obviously won the race last year. If I put place, so this is the win and place, you can see seas of green in terms of proven, and then you've got the likes of Saint Sonnet, Mr. Fisher and Al Dancer, who are the three who could be anything, and then Cool Cody is also unexposed in handicap chases, having done quite a lot in handicap hurdles, but new to the Evan Williams yard. So interesting there. You can see the handicap ratings down the side. ASO is back to his last winning mark. Need to check whether that's a handicap or not. Slate House is £1 below his last winning mark, so you can see those that are handicapped against last winning marks and who may be best handicapped in the context of today's race. But of course, like I said, there's a few in here who are kind of making handicap chase debut and could be in the properly could be anything category, as could a couple of the others. In terms of in handicaps against their current marks, because you would think there is more to come at some point. If I put the pace map on, you can see being held up a real struggle in these kind of race conditions. It's pretty hard to come from right out the back. I can click this pace map here. We can get an idea of how horses generally go and line up. This is based on their last 4 runs. You get a kind of score of 4 if you led, or let me just check the date. Sorry, yeah, if you led and were prominent, you get a 1 if you were held up near the back, kind of down here, as you can see. This is not to say the horses are going to repeat this kind of pace setup and run as they have done before, especially if they were, let's say, patiently ridden because this was the target. And then they might have a more prominent position today, for example. But Sir Dulac can be up there. Possibly first run for Pipe, I need to check. Simply the Bets will lob along in second or third. Charlie likes to be aggressive if he can, and ASO will be up there. Mr. Fisher, if he handles these conditions. Al Dancer, I should think Sam will be aggressive enough, but not overly, because he is inexperienced for big field handicap chases, and his jumping in these conditions with this many runners is probably the one question, but he does look interesting to my eyes anyway at the prices as I look, given some of those things I said earlier as well with the stats pointers. Saint Sonnet, Cool Cody may be up there, so you can see Happy Diva normally tracks the pace, or in any sense is mid-division, and then you've got the ones down here who can be more patiently ridden, will need plenty of luck, will need possibly plenty of things to go right, these up front to go too hard, some of them to fall in a hole, and these then to come from the back to jump well under pressure when having to close and make ground up this Cheltenham Hill off that bend on the old course. So, you know, questions there, but that's the pace map. You can pause that, stare at that, do what you want as you please. Jumping over to the race cars, I tick around to 8 minutes. Various different points. You can see the ones that are making their seasonal return. You can see Little Sinbos, Mr. Fisher's second start in a handicap chase, Al Dancer up 1 class, Ser Dulac first start after a wind up, trainer change. We can see here David Pipe does okay with trainer change horses, horses for courses, etc. So interesting, he's doing something different in the sense he's running for the Pipe Yard, and the Pipe Yard are going well, so maybe of some interest there. Possibly, but £9 above his last winning handicap mark, so those kind of things to consider. You know, so on and so forth. You can see what trainers are in red hot decent form. That's these green symbols: Paul Nicholls, Mr. Curran. Is it Sean? I'm not 100% sure. I should find that out. Paul Nicholls again. Skeltons are going okay. Pipes are going okay, as you can see there. Kerry Lees are going okay. Can Happy Diva win this race again? I think a handful in history have done so, so that'll be interesting to see if she can do that. You would think she'll be banging on the door, and this was the target, and she probably very much needed the run 15 days ago. Exactly the same prep as when winning this last year, the same race, although she ran slightly better, of course. What is she here? £7-8 higher, and the claim was the same, I think, from Richard Patrick back then. So questions there, of course, but it's proven in conditions. So yeah, as always, you're weighing up those that are proven, the handicap marks. Are they well handicapped? Who's unexposed? Who's could be anything? Mr. Fisher, Al Dancer, and Saint Sonnet are the properly unexposed, could be anything in handicap chases, all with some kind of decent form to their name, especially in novice chases, some in graded races, etc. So they may be worth a closer look, and you could make an argument of always trying to have one of that kind of profile on side if you wanted. Cool Cody is exposed over handicap hurdles arguably, but unexposed in handicap chases, as you can see there. You know, I always like looking at progressive RPRs against the mark, so that's something you can flick through and look through as trying to judge if a horse may be well handicapped from their current mark. So different things there. So I've done the Instant Expert, I've done the pace, talked through various different things there that are hopefully of some interest. I will finish with a jump over to horse race base. Here we have horse race base ratings, which are useful. Horses generally in this, well, you can look at the numbers spread. They're quite complex, I think, in how Chris brings them together. Of course, you are looking at kind of been there and done it form to some degree, and the different ways that he kind of pulls these ratings together. There's very many different elements to it, but they are a good guide. If you've looked at those punting pointers sheet, and the link is in the daily posts at near the top, you will have seen how different horse race base kind of top three perform anyway in certain race conditions and handicap chases, field sizes, etc. But the likes of Mr. Fisher, Simply Bet, Our Dancer, Fidux, Spirit of the Games, Happy Diva, Saint Sonnet, arguably cut off there in terms of the gap, but maybe some of these in the 190s. You know, you may want to look through in with a fine-tooth comb in some of those near the top. That is not to say something down here near the bottom can't win, of course, because they do. So don't necessarily be put off if your horse is lurking down here or one you like. More to use as a positive enforcer of making a case if you can. But with that said, that quick preview, hopefully I've said something of possible interest, shown you something which may help you solve the puzzle yourself. I do not want this video to go on and on, so as I tick around to 12 minutes, I will leave it there, and hopefully something of interest. If you do fancy anything in this race, do post in the comments, start a discussion, do whatever you want. Winners get praised, losers generally get ignored, so no need to worry about those. But if you do fancy something, many reasons why, do post up. We're a friendly bunch. And with that said, best of luck with any of your bets. I will no doubt have a couple of thoughts of my own to attack in this race that you can use as you please, with a full kind of written preview horse by horse if I can. So yes, this is Josh saying thanks for watching. Hope that was useful, and until the next time, bye for now.